Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Game of Thrones video. In this one, we'll give our thoughts first, and we'll get into your guys' questions about the Game of Thrones Remake Season 8 petition reaching over 1 million signatures. And I'll put the link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check out the petition for yourselves. If you want to sign it, I signed it. It's up to you. If you're happy with the way Season 8 ended, then, I guess you don't have to. But you can check it out if you want. It's got 1,100,000 signatures so far. And the finale has just aired. So I would think by the time next week or the week after rolls around, you will have at least a few million signatures, probably, from fans saying that they want Season 8 of Game of Thrones to be remade. So it's kind of unfortunate, right, that people are feeling this way, and you got over 1 million people that are, already saying, man, I wish they could remake it or redo it or something. This is really unfortunate, man. This is really... I want to say it's basically a worst case scenario for an ending. It's pretty much an ending where, I wouldn't even say the fan base is divided. There's 30%, 20%, like I've said, that are happy with the ending, but the majority of people are not. The majority of viewers that I've seen are very unhappy with the way the season has gone and the way things ended off at the end. There were some people that were unhappy after the long night, maybe about 30 or 40%, but most people were okay up until these last couple of episodes. But then after they decided to sort of make, so here's what they did with Season 8. You had the long night, so you had the Night King be the villain up until that episode, and then you did a couple with Cersei, so you had Cersei be the villain after, and then out of nowhere we had Daenerys become a villain for the last episode. And for me, and everyone's entitled to their own, viewpoint, for me the misstep was the last part. When you had Daenerys become a villain, so the point where Jon had to kill her and Grey Worm sort of become a villain by the end, to where they're murdering people who have surrendered and they're doing all this stuff, and they're just, it's really, really brutal. So you had her be an additional kind of hidden villain as she becomes a villain by the time the series ends. And part of that is Jon revealing that he's Targaryen and everything, and her still loving him in the end, and, wanting to embrace him when she's victorious and everything, and him just be like, no, it's not okay what we did and everything, and have to go X-Men Last Stand on her and put down the Phoenix, right? He's Wolverine, and he's putting down the Phoenix. So for me, when I think back to Last Stand, it's like, it's not even really an original ending if you think about it. I mean, this type of thing has been done before, and it's just something that it didn't work then, and I'd say it doesn't work now, at least not for me. It's not what people wanted. It's not what people wanted to see, and it was pretty unnecessary to do it this way and take this big risk of turning Daenerys into a villain, having a heel turn for her right at the end of the show, right at the end, when you didn't really have time to do it properly. You just had like 2 episodes. It wasn't necessary. It didn't need to happen. You could have just done the last episode of maybe 45 minutes after Cersei was defeated, of everybody celebrating, getting together, spending some time, having some dialogue, and or maybe a time skip and them all kind of getting together, and you have, some of them have kids and stuff like this. If you'd have just done that, I know it's a happy ending, so some people might not want that for Game of Thrones, but that would have been the conservative way to go. And if you did that, you wouldn't have had 1 million people signing this year, or so many people so upset with the way things ended off. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. It'd be cool if HBO could do something, because there's so many people that watch this final season. It'd be cool if you could use maybe the fantasy, and you could do like a season 9 afterwards or something, where you have somebody, you could do the time travel thing, if you have to. It's a bit of a stretch, right? But no more of a stretch than Daenerys kind of doing what she did and burning women and children. If you have, I don't know, somehow maybe, Jon not tell her that he's Targaryen. Like, he makes a choice, and Bran's like, it's up to you. What do you want to do? Do you want to tell him or not? Maybe have it so he keeps that to himself and he doesn't tell them. and then that could be sort of an alternate, timeline or way things go differently, and she doesn't lose it and kill everybody, and then you have kind of a better ending for everyone. I don't know. I would have liked, just about anything they have to do. If there's any way they could fix it now, I like to see it. I mean, it's over, right? So the series is over. So the odds of HBO actually doing something to fix Game of Thrones now, do a spin-off movie or something, there's some potentials for other things they could do after this with the characters like Arya. You could do maybe an explorer type of thing with her. I don't know, how good that would be. But it's just really unfortunate the way things kind of wrapped up here for Game of Thrones, for fans of Jon and fans of Daenerys. Moonchild Crabby says, yes, Trev, it wasn't the best ending. However, I love the reunion between Jon and Ghost. I just hope George R.R. Martin writes a better ending. Probably. That's probably not hard. That's probably, if he ever finishes the the books, that's probably a lock that it's going to be better than this. At least in my opinion, anyway, and what I think should have been done. Dan says, I agree with you 100%. They banished Jon while assassinating his character. Then you have the council that half of them weren't even in the last 4 episodes decide the fate of the kingdom. What was the point of having Arya going to King's Landing? I guess just to instill in our minds that Daenerys is a hardcore villain so we could get to see from the ground. Again, they made the decision that they were going to turn Daenerys into a villain, and it just didn't work. At least not for me. For some people, maybe it worked. For me, it didn't work. I think it was a bad choice. I think they shouldn't have done it. Had Cersei kill her would have been better. Had the Night King kill her would have been better. But to do what they did with her, it just was, it's arguable at best that it's within character. Some people say, oh, it was within character, and other people are like, no, it wasn't. And that's a matter of opinion, I guess. And again, even the showrunners, they probably think for her it's in character and that it wasn't so much of a stretch. But the way that the viewers saw her was different than probably the way they saw her. At least that's I know what they were trying to do. Maybe if they had another season, it would have been okay. But because they rushed it so fast, I think in the end it didn't work so well. It just didn't. BluesDude said that when even TREVSCHAN is saying the season was bad, or at least the finale, you have a big problem. That's hilarious to see him like this, because he's usually so positive. And I wanted to include that for BluesDude. You're absolutely right, man. When even I am saying that they effed up, right? When even I'm saying that, yeah, there's a problem. Because, he knows me, right? And you guys know me too. I rarely get upset. I rarely get angry. And, this one for me angered me tremendously. It really, really did. I really am not happy with the way things went at the end here. And it's very true, man. So he's right. And, I'm sorry I can't be positive about it, guys. I wish I could. It just doesn't work for me. Daenerys is a villain. Doesn't work for me in the way I see the character. Maybe for some people it does. It doesn't for me. The women and children thing, I'm looking at saying, like, no matter who she lost, no matter what happened, she lost her children. She lost a couple of her dragons. Could I see her killing other people's children? No. Maybe Jaime and Cersei, but, maybe Lannister direct children. But even then, it's like, that doesn't feel like, no, I don't think so, man. I just think it didn't work, honestly. Objectively, I just say it just didn't work. That's it. They screwed up. That's it. They just messed up. It was a bad heel turn. It didn't work, and the fans didn't buy it, and they didn't like it, or at least 70% or 60% didn't. Anti-Everything says, laughing my ass off, this is why The Walking Dead is better and always will be. So the discussion, I did a video on that one a little while ago, and I wanted it to be the last one of The Walking Dead versus Game of Thrones. I feel like I probably should redo it now. Really, The Walking Dead didn't have to do anything. Game of Thrones, in the end, just shot themselves right in the foot. That's what I said in a previous video. They just ballista shot themselves right in the foot with them trying to do too much, trying to cram in that last villain, which is Daenerys, right at the end in only 2 episodes when you didn't have time for it, you didn't set it up that well, and it just didn't work. The Walking Dead, almost, for me, at this point, just won by default, because the way they handled things the last couple of years, they disappointed us with some of the character deaths, but other ones, when it counted, when it really mattered, the most important ones, they didn't really screw them up that bad. What Game of Thrones did is Game of Thrones screwed up the most important ones. The characters that have been spotlighted for years at the very forefront. I wouldn't say Jaime is like a forefront guy, or Cersei was a forefront villain, but Daenerys and Jon, they pulled ahead for me this season and the last couple years as the standout characters. They did. Tyrion's up there too, and I was okay mostly with what they did with him in the end. But, you know, Jon and Daenerys were like those two at the end that were like the biggest characters on the hero side. And you basically went a direction where you're like, there is no hero, there is no good side, there is no good. It's a bleak viewpoint, it's a dark viewpoint, it's a mistrusting, backstabbing type of thought, paranoia, thinking, and it's nasty, and I don't like it. And I like to think that people are better than that, and it would have taken more for Daenerys to do what she did. She went through a lot, but I just feel like, okay, you kill Varys, you kill some of the people that were doing this. Maybe there's some collateral damage, but you don't kill 1 million people. That's crazy, right? Kabo J says, the Lord of Light served no purpose. Jon's lineage served no purpose. Varys being a eunuch served no purpose. Arya's faces served no purpose. 2 of the dragons served no purpose. The Golden Company served no purpose. The dire wolves served no purpose. Can't argue. Yeah, you're right. I can't argue. It all basically was for naught in the end because you didn't have a nice ending. You just had a cluster F disaster of chaos as a ladder leaning on the wrong wall. We got to the top of that chaotic ladder. We looked around, and there wasn't shit to see, and that was it. And the credits rolled. We looked up. We got to the top rung of that ladder. We looked over. Nothing to see here. Okay, that was a waste. Shouldn't have bothered to climb this ladder, this chaotic ladder. Levon W. said, what's the point of Jon even being a Targaryen? What's the point of anything in the series? They just effed up the end. If they literally would have ended it 2 episodes earlier and had Cersei just surrendered, I would have liked it better. Because at least they didn't F it up too bad, and it would have been like, okay, cool. You didn't trash all our favorite characters and kill everybody, who really, meant something. I mean, who's left now in the end? It's like, okay, Tyrion, Bronn, Sansa, who I'm impartial on Sansa. She's okay. Okay, I kind of like Sansa, but, it's like just kind of. Jon is probably my favorite character still, but they trashed him pretty good. Bran, I still don't like. He's still got that stupid look on his face all the time. Who else? Grey Worm, I hate him. I can't stand him now. They trashed him so bad, it's unbelievable. Because he was a pretty good hero character type too, Liberator and stuff. And Liberation turned out to be Decimation. It's like, what the hell? Last one will be from Mark Reisatar, who has another Walking Dead question. He says, Scott Gimple, quote, I can ruin The Walking Dead in Season 8. D&D, hold our Starbucks. So I like that comment quite a bit, man. I think what happened was, maybe in the end for both series, as the years went on, we saw so many characters be killed off. We saw so much death and so much, twists and turns and everything. In the end, we just kind of wanted to see things wrap up in a way to where it made it worthwhile. That's really what I wanted to see. It's just make it worthwhile. Give us that ending that gives the series meaning, that gives it a basis, and doesn't make it feel like it's just shock value, pandering, bleak, mistrusting, chaotic garbage that you just threw together and had everybody with no heart in the end. If you Captain Planet was the heart kid, right? You have no heart, man. You got it's just this bleak, nasty, sewage-filled, no heart, man. We need Captain Planet to save us. That's what we need. Really sad, man. I am so sad for everybody involved. That is so sad, man. You want to do work you can be proud of. You don't want to do work. I can't believe they went along with it, man. They must have got paid a lot of money. I'd have said, keep the money, kill me off, I'm out. I'm not doing this shit. That's what I'd have said. I'd have told them to stuff it. Keep your millions or whatever. I'm not doing it. End of story. Change it. Fix it. Don't care. Anyway, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. And how you feel about the position. Have you signed it? Do you think there's any way HBO could fix this? Do you think there's any way possible they could fix it? Or they will? Probably not. And that's really unfortunate because this is the end. So it's like, you're going to leave us with that? That's where you're going to leave things off? Are you sure, man? That's what you want to do? Jeez, man, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know why you want to do that. Okay, do what you're going to do. That's it for this video, guys. See you soon. Trev, saying peace.